YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, summer's finally at UK and it stopped raining and it's a bit warm, but we're going to continue on with the 420X. We got to part number, I think assembly number 14, so this will be 15 onwards, and really excited to see how this thing turns out. So let's bring you in for a close-up look and see how far we get this time. So, looks like we're going to be assembling some of the steering components, and basically we're going to start with this part, steering linkage, and you have this little bit, and we've got either the MB13 or the MB12. So one is 8mm, which is the MB12 with one notch. MB13 is 8.5mm, and if we just check on instructions, it says fine-tuning steering response. MB12 gives moderate response, MB13 sharper. So I'm guessing if you use the MB13 part, it gives sharper steering, but I'm going to build it with the MB12 first. It's a part we can swap out if we need to. So, running through this, we're going to need a little ball joint. We're going to need an MB4. This is 5.5 by 1mm shim. Then we're going to have to assemble this into the MB15 part. And I've put a tiny little bit of oil on the bearings on these. So, assembling this part, once we've got the MB15, it then says we need to get the MB12 or 13 with the dimple facing away, and it looks like this slides inside. So it looks like you use the dimple to slide past your washer that you've put in, your shim. Then we're going to need a 1mm shim, and we're going to screw them into the back of it. So if you are fitting the MB13, that's got a dimple on both sides, so it doesn't matter which way round you fit that by the looks of it. So we just need to nip these up. Then we need to get 2 of the MA5s. So these are the 3x8mm screws. So fitting this, it looks like it's going to be that way round. Then we need one of the thicker shims on the top. So this will be the, I think this is the 0.7mm MB6, and then one of the really thin shims next. I think this is the 0.1mm shim. So it looks like we're going to have the thinnest shim on the bottom, then the slightly thicker shim, then we're going to have to drop the screw all the way through, then you're going to have to get it through both your shims, and then we're going to be tightening this up. So it should tighten all the way down, and with it being a tapered one, it's running on the inner race only, and there is absolutely zero play in that. So it looks like we've got them in the right order and in the right place. So again, thinnest shim on bottom, then the next one, and basically that's what we should end up with. So there's no play whatsoever. I'm really impressed with that free steering setup. So let's carry on and see what else we need. So moving along, we need to build his turnbuckles up. I'm not going to show you screwing all these on because it's pretty boring. So these two should be measuring 27.7mm, and then you want the little dot on the outside and then on the top of this one, and then this one, the dot wants to be on the top and on this side, and the dot signifies which way you clip them on ball joints. Then for this one we need a 6mm gap, and looks like we have the dot on the outside and on the top. They should be right from what I can see on instructions, but on the instructions it only shows you where we have one of these dots and doesn't show you where the others are. So once you got them built up, we can move on. So moving along, we're gonna have to mount our steering. So should just be able to pass that through the belt. That should drop into place. Then we need 2 MA3 screws, and it's not telling us to use any shims or anything else to hold these down. And I was pretty impressed with the TA08 build. It went together really nice and there was very little play in anything, but this seems to take it to a whole new level, and you can see just how free that steering is, but there's almost no play at all in it. So when we're fastening these on, you want your little dot towards the actual steering. So let's see if we can get these on. And then you should have the other dot facing up. And these are not actually too bad to clip on. Then once we've got that assembled, you need the dot on this one facing down. So once we have all that in place, we can then move along. So we should have a steering assembled. You should have the dot on this one facing back, and these two, the dots face up. So let's crack on, see what else we've got. Right, so moving along to the front suspension arms. So we're gonna need one of the larger grub screws. So we're gonna have to screw this through, and then it's telling us we need it to come through the rear of it, and this should just be 1.9mm. And of course, same as everything, we can set this afterwards to get it exactly how we want it, but the 1.9mm should give us a good starting place. So once we've got that screwed in, you're then going to get the insert for the arm. So we're going to drop that in. Then you're going to need 1.5mm driver for this. And then we're going to screw these smaller or thinner grub screw in. So once we've got that in, we're going to place a 2mm shim and then one of our suspension ball joints, and it looks like this is going to be a 2.5mm hex. So we just need to get that screwed on. Once you've got that assembled, we're going to need a hinge pin. Then we want a 1mm shim on the back of this, and then a 0.5mm shim. So that's one of them assembled. You're going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So we'll get that built up and then move on. So moving on to our what would be A block, but it's got an E on it. So it looks like you're going to want that facing that way, and then the pills go to the outside. So we want 2 of the N2 pills. I'm not sure if these will show up on camera, but we're basically going for the outermost position on these. So once we've got that in place, we're then going to need 2 of the little countersunk MA6s. So we're going to put the arms into position now. Just be careful not to lose any of your shims, as both mine fall off. Then once we get that into position, you can slide this over them, and we should be able to flip it over, and we're going to drop one of these in either side, and then we can just tighten these up. And then we've got our arms all fastened into place. So let's move on and see what else we've got. So moving on to the rear arms, we're going to need to get our droop screws, and this time we're only going for a 1.7mm sticking through the back of the arm. So let's see how close we can get that. That looks like as 1.7. So once we've got that in, we're going to have to put our insert into his arm. We're going to need a 1.5mm driver again. And just be careful not to cross thread these. And don't over tighten them. So this time we're only having a 0.5mm shim on here before you fit your ball joint. Then again, you're going to need the 2.5mm to fasten the ball joint on. Then we're going to need a hinge pin, and we're going to want as 1mm shim on the side facing the suspension joints, and then a 0.5mm shim on the rear. So that's one assembled. I'll get the other one done because it's exactly the same, and then we'll move on. Right, so moving along, we've got our suspension block, and then this time we're going for the N2 pills, and the dot is going to be on the center line and on the innermost position for these. So dot towards the inside. So once we've got that, we just need to put the arms into place. Just be very careful with these shims because they like to try and escape. So we should be able to slide this over the suspension now. So once we've got that on, carefully flip it over. And then we need 2 of the MA6s. And these are the 2mm hex. So once we get them screwed down, we've now got all the suspension arms fully assembled and set. They do move really free, and there's absolute zero play in any of these, which is really impressive. And it's starting to look like a very impressive touring car. And although there are similarities between this and the TA08 Pro, the further we get on with the build, there is a vast difference in quality of the parts used. So I think we're going to call it a day at that, and it's a good place to stop. We've got a very nice RC coming along, really nice steering. So let's wrap this one up. So that's from parts 15 to parts 21. We've now got steering, we've got the lower suspension arms all on, and it's really looking impressive, this build. Did initially think the release price of this car seemed really expensive, but then when you notice in the kit it comes with both the alloy and the carbon chassis, yeah, you can see where the money is in this kit. I would say so far it's as nice a build as any of the other touring cars that I've built. Certainly looks higher quality than the SNRC, and it looks every bit as high quality as the Iris 1, just far better instructions, and it does look like it's going to be a bit more solid than the Iris 1. But thanks again for watching WTF Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and hopefully see you guys in the next one, and we'll continue with the 420X build.